was unlawfully arrested last month by Border Patrol while battling the Bear Gulch fire. Today, Innovation Law Lab and Northwest Immigrant Rights Project are filing a habeas petition and temporary restraining order in federal court to demand his immediate release. The arrests of firefighters battling Washington's largest wildfire drew national criticism and violated a long-standing agency policy prohibiting immigration enforcement at disaster response sites. The unlawful and dangerous actions of ICE, Border Patrol, and Homeland Security under this administration have caused chaos, instilled fear in communities, and torn families apart. We are here together to share about the lawless actions of this administration and demand the release of Rigoberto Hernandez Hernandez. Today, you will hear from my colleague, Rodrigo Fernandez Ortega, staff attorney at Innovation Law Lab, then Ariana Avena, Organizational and Equity, Inclusion and Belonging Director at SEIU. After our remarks, we and my colleague, Jordan Cunnings, Legal Director at Innovation Law Lab, can take any questions you all may have, so please hold those to the end. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, buenos dias. My name is Rodrigo Fernandez Ortega. I am a staff attorney at Innovation Law Lab. Our client, Rigoberto Hernandez Hernandez, is being held in unlawful executive detention at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma, Washington, in violation of the U.S. Constitution and the laws of the United States. Today, lawyers at Innovation Law Lab and the Northwest Immigrants' Rights Project are filing a petition for habeas corpus and a motion for a temporary restraining order, asking the federal court to immediately release him. Mr. Hernandez is a 23-year-old from Kaiser, Oregon. This is his third season working as a wildland firefighter. He is a qualified sawyer, and he often works as a wildland faller, doing the grueling and dangerous job of cutting down trees and clearing vegetation to manage the spread of wildfires and to protect homes, communities, and resources. Rigoberto describes his commitment to firefighting the following way. For me, firefighting is much more than a job. It is a calling. I consider it my duty. It has given me clarity in how I think and how I want to act and be in the world. I want to be able to continue to protect the land, the wildlife, and the people of this country. On August 27th, armed Border Patrol agents working with National Park Rangers illegally arrested Mr. Hernandez at his job site in the middle of an active wildfire. The federal agents appeared at the extremely remote location in the blockaded fire emergency zone managed by the federal government, where firefighter crews were assigned to work to conduct an immigration inspection. This violated long-standing Department of Homeland Security policy that prohibits immigration enforcement at disaster response sites. Mr. Hernandez invoked his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and the federal agents arrested him despite having no warrant or reasonable suspicion on account of his race and in retaliation for exercising his constitutional right to remain silent. The federal agents then hid him from his family and his lawyers for more than 48 hours. Rigoberto grew up in the United States. His parents were migrant farm workers, so he was raised between Oregon, Washington, and California as they traveled for work. He moved to Oregon 3 years ago and began working as a wildland firefighter. Mr. Hernandez has completed an application for legal status, which has been pending since 2018 when he applied for a U visa. U visas are a tool to provide protected status to some victims of crimes, intended to encourage cooperation with law enforcement, to help communities solve crime, and protect witnesses from retaliatory immigration enforcement. Mr. Hernandez's family was a victim to a felony, and his father's testimony in federal court helped the U.S. attorney secure convictions. Mr. Hernandez has not yet received his U visa due to the massive backlog in the broken immigration system. Government agencies do not get to pick and choose which laws to follow. Federal agents illegally arrested a firefighter in the middle of that region's largest wildland fire in decades, and then doubled down on their illegal actions by not allowing him to make or receive calls from his family and attorneys for 2 days. They violated his constitutional rights to due process and risk public safety by interfering with the wildfire response. Despite being detained for more than 3 weeks, ICE only recently initiated removal proceedings against him. As of this morning, he does still not appear in ICE's public-facing ICE detainee locator. Mr. Hernandez's attorneys are filing this petition today to seek the release of Mr. Hernandez and to safeguard the rights of us all. If CBP can unlawfully detain someone in secret without notice or access to counsel, then no one's due process rights are safe. Thank you all.
Good morning. I am Ariana Avina, Organizational Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Director at SEIU Local 503. I'm proud to be here today on behalf of 72,000 working people in Oregon. By standing together, we have a voice in our contracts and in our daily work lives. Essential workers are from every community in Oregon, each doing our bit to keep our state a safe place for families and communities to thrive. We are home care workers, firefighters, nurses, and workers that maintain our roads, clean our schools, and keep our state running. Many of our members are immigrants or come from immigrant families. Rigoberto is a courageous Kaiser firefighter who was detained while trying to stop the Bear Gulch fire near the Olympico National Forest. Like thousands of workers across our country, he woke up every day to do essential work that all of us rely on. This is back-breaking work. He put his personal health and safety on the line to protect and defend us and our property, and in this case, our treasured Olympic National Forest. We've witnessed the horrific and violent arrests of hardworking immigrants all across this country and tried to make sense of what is happening. This detention lays bare the unvarnished truth. This was never about public safety. Because if it was, then why would our federal government arrest someone who was sacrificing so much to protect our country? How is our federal government making us safer by upending the life of a law-abiding firefighter who is working so hard to protect us? What is happening is not okay. These immigration actions are destroying the very fabric of our communities. They are harming Oregon families. They are harming all of us and all of our futures. It's time to put politics aside. The administration should release Rigoberto immediately and expedite his U visa application so he can continue supporting his community and our region. Thank you.
Thank you both. There has been an overwhelming and outpouring support from the community, and we want to see justice for Mr. Hernandez. We want him back home in Oregon with his family and his friends. We cannot look away. We have a responsibility to act, and we cannot allow ICE to just detain people with complete disregard for constitutionally protected rights and the rule of law. Now we will open it up for questions.
What's the perfect outcome for you to resolve this quickly and
Just give it to her.
possible for you all?
The perfect outcome would be for him to be released immediately.
Can you explain more about what you're doing today and what the process is for your client?
I'll pass it over to one of our attorneys.
Just a reminder to get the mic, Jordan.
Okay.
And say your name so we spell it correctly.
Yeah, I'm Jordan Cunnings, Legal Director at Innovation Law Lab. The question was about the legal actions we're filing today. So we're filing a petition for habeas corpus. This is a long-standing form of protection from unlawful detention. And so that petition asks that the court find his detention as unlawful and release him. The temporary restraining order communicates to the court the urgency of the matter. So we believe this petition should be heard promptly and his release should occur as soon as possible.
And is that going through federal courts or state courts? Which avenue do you all have to take, and what are you running into?
We're filing in the Western District of Washington's federal court in Tacoma because he's detained at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma.
Is the Tacoma Center full?
I don't have information about that. This administration has been detaining hugely increased numbers of people. So my understanding is, yes, the detention centers are overcrowded and they've always been unsafe, unsanitary, and the functional equivalent of prison.
How effective has it been? I've done a few stories on this, and I know you guys filed habeas corpuses before. Like, has it been effective in getting people released? Kind of how effective is it?
Unfortunately, the immigration system is so broken right now that habeas corpus and the federal courts are the only remedy for people subject to unlawful detention. This administration recently has manipulated their administrative agencies to require mandatory detention for functionally anyone who is a non-citizen in this country and who they detain, no matter how they're detained. So habeas corpus relief has become the way that we're able to assert people's rights, remind people that this country is one of laws and a due process for all of us. And so yes, we've had success mainly because the administration's actions have been so egregiously unlawful and the immigration system is so broken that it allows continued detention without intervention from a federal court.
Would you know how many people, though, like, let's say the last 6 months that you guys have filed for, and it's like 5 have been released due to this? Like, do you have any numbers?
We've had, I believe, 6 successful filings in the past few months.
Do you know much about, there was another firefighter detained with him, who's representing him, or if he's challenging his detention or remains detained?
We don't represent him, so I don't have specific details on that. He also was a member of this courageous crew, and so we're equally concerned about his rights, but we don't represent him, so I don't have more details on that.
And there was some prior coverage that there was a criminal investigation into time card potential fraud prior to the raid, and I don't know if you have any information on that.
Yeah, I think the Seattle Times has done some great reporting that we've referenced. We don't have information additional to what's already been released in the media, but we are concerned that this was a setup and that the emergency response teams are working in collaboration with immigration enforcement. That should concern all of us who are at risk from the consequences of these natural disasters.
I know he was seeking legal status as a crime victim, but it sounds like that's obviously, 2018 is when he tried to do that, he still hasn't pursued it. But I know his brother had also said he did himself on a criminal background, he was deported before. Do those two correlate? Like, would that at all impact him not being granted citizenship and things like that at all?
I'm not sure what you're referencing as to the comments for his brother. I'm not sure that that's correct. He is eligible for the legal status that he sought since 2018. He has a single misdemeanor conviction for speed racing. He's turned his life around. He's become a wildlife firefighter, and that conviction does not make him ineligible for the form of immigration relief that he sought or for any other form of immigration relief.
Just checking, how old is your client?
He's 23.
As a lawyer dealing with this, how would you describe the checks and balance system as it's going for the legal system and clients that you're trying to protect? How would you describe it as a lawyer?
We're working really hard. I think the federal courts are one of the last bastions of due process in the moment right now, unfortunately. The executive, as my colleague Rodrigo said, doesn't get to pick and choose what laws they follow, but they clearly think that they can. And so the place where we're able to hold them accountable right now is from community power, and then also filing cases in federal court to remind them of their role following the law.
Is it unusual to wait 7 years for a U visa?
Unfortunately, it's not. So we think it's time for the petition to be adjudicated. He's waited long enough, but there are huge backlogs across the immigration system, including in the U visa adjudication system. So while we think the adjudication of this specific application is overdue, it's unfortunately not unusual.
I guess I'll just ask, have you guys heard from him directly in terms of like how he's doing there? I mean, he's been there for what now, almost a month. So have you shared anything about how he's doing?
Yeah, I'm going to let my colleague Rodrigo answer that question because he's spoken with him in person.
Thank you, Jordan. May you repeat the question, please?
Just how is he doing? Like, have you heard from him directly about his experience there and just how he's doing overall? How do you think that's almost
Yes. I speak to Mr. Hernandez several times a week. From the start and throughout, we have had some issues having access to him, but I've been able to speak with him several times a week, and he's holding up as best as he can for himself and for his family.
Has he given any indication of the conditions that he's in? Does he talk about that at all?
Yeah, like my colleague Jordan said, the conditions in the detention centers are very effectively like prisons. They're overcrowded, and they're very cold too in the centers.
Does he have children? Is he married?
He is not married, and he does not have children.
Have you dealt with any situation like this before? I know it was said that it's, I guess essentially illegal to detain somebody who's working as he was at a disaster site and unlawful under the Administrative Procedures Act. So have you guys seen this happen before under this, current administration, or is this the first one you've kind of handled?
Yeah, our organization has experience handling unlawful detentions and claims on APA violations, if you want to speak more about that.
Yeah, this is the first time that we know of in history that someone's been detained while actively fighting a wildfire. So.
Can you say that again without removing?
Sure. Yeah, this is the first time that we know of in history that there's been immigration enforcement on the site of active wildfire response.
Do you know what victim, I know you said he was a crime victim, and that's how he was trying to apply for the visa. Do you know what crime exactly, what specifics on the crime he was a victim?
Yeah, for the family's privacy, we're not sharing more details, but it was a serious felony, and he was a child at the time, and the father's cooperation was essential in getting the convictions.
Did it happen to him or his father?
The family was the victim of a crime. Thank you all.
Unless there are any other last questions, that will be the conclusion of our press conference. Thank you all so much.
All right, this is Fox 12. Oregon, we're listening in here to see if there were any final questions. It looks like they're concluding what has been going on there. So we'll go ahead and bring this back here in studio. Again, we have been live streaming that, so that is the press conference that was just going on from attorneys and advocates for one of the wildland firefighters that was arrested by Border Patrol back in August. This is while they were fighting the Bear Gulch fire. A couple of things of note that we did learn from this news conference, just to reiterate a few things that they had on there. Yeah, it looks like that has concluded. Just to give you this information, so they said this is they're representing one of these individuals who was arrested, was a 23-year-old from Kaiser, Oregon, in his third season as a wildland firefighter. He's been living in Oregon for 3 years, again, according to his attorneys there. This was fighting the Bear Gulch fire on the Olympic Peninsula. They're filing a petition for habeas corpus for unlawful detention and demanding his release. He is apparently still in custody there, being detained. They said that his parents were migrant farm workers and that he came to the country when he was 4 years old, and that he completed an application for a U visa in 2018. Now, a U visa is something that people can apply for if they are the victims of mental or physical crimes and are willing to help law enforcement in the investigation or prosecution in the crime. And they said he was a child when this occurred, but his father was one of the ones that participated in helping law enforcement, so that's what he completed this application for a U visa back in 2018, but that is still going through the system and hasn't been granted or denied yet. So that's where we're at right there with some of this information that we're getting in from this, again, this press conference that we just heard from these attorneys. They did say that the other individual that was arrested is not being represented by them, so they didn't have a whole lot of information on that other person. So we'll keep you up to date with this, obviously, as soon as we can find out more information. But if you are unfamiliar with this, we do have something else here just to show. This is a news report from back at the time of this arrest. Again, the Bear Gulch fire is on the Olympic Peninsula. It is still a continuing fire. This was back in August when this arrest happened. But I've got this report just to refresh if you need something.
We got pulled over by ICE.
This video shows Customs and Border Patrol agents moving in on crews working the Bear Gulch fire in the Olympic Peninsula.
Crazy, dude.
King 5 spoke with one of the firefighters who was there. He wants to remain anonymous, but spoke with us over the phone.
We went some
some place that I've never seen, you know, and it was kind of weird because it's just one way, you know. It's one way in, it's one way out.
The firefighter says he and his teammates were stunned to see federal agents.
We got members from the tribe of Umatilla, Cayuse, and Walla Walla. This is crazy, man. Look at that. Posted up.
Even more shocked when they lined them up and started taking pictures of their IDs.
Thank you, sir. Whenever you guys get a chance, exercise your tribal rights. On me, I had my ID, but I was still thinking, man, is this enough proof? You know? We have a different crew over here.
He says the two men who were arrested are respected crew members.
They're discussing about fraud hours.
CBP confirmed the two men are being held at a facility in Bellingham. The agency says the two are in the country illegally, and one of them has a previous order of removal.
Oh yeah, they're good guys. He's been doing this for a long time. He has a lot of experience. Everyone loves him. That kid is just he just goes, and he's I have a lot of respect for him.
Governor Bob Ferguson says he's deeply concerned and his team is pressing federal agencies for answers. And Senator Patty Murray also criticized the move, calling it immoral and dangerous.
It's just weird, it's scary. I just don't want to tell people be safe, man. Like these people are just doing too much.
Bridget Chavez, Fox 12 Oregon.
All right, so there was that report back there when this arrest occurred. So those arrests were towards the end of August, and this was just what we heard from today when we were hearing from the attorneys and advocates for one of the people who was arrested. So we'll have all this information, of course, at kptv.com. We'll keep you up to date as we find out more on what's going to go on. Again, they did file a motion for habeas corpus, which would demand the immediate release of one of those individuals, the person from Kaiser, Oregon. And once we find out more information on that, we will get that to you as well. But thank you for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now. We live stream here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, so we can bring you these news conferences, more interviews, all kinds of different things. And we'll be back at 1 o'clock after our noon news with more for you, as we do every day throughout the afternoon. And if there's ever breaking news, this is also the place to go. So I encourage you to download that Fox 12 Oregon app, whether that's on your phone or your television device as well, so meaning your streaming service. So if that's you're on Fire TV or Apple TV or Roku, there is a Fox 12 Oregon app on there, and if you download that, you can get all of this information too and watch all of our videos after the fact. But that is the information that we have for you right now. So again, we're going to go ahead and send you back to our other programming. We'll be back at noon with our noon news, and then 1 o'clock with more Fox 12 Now. Thanks for joining us.